Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are looking at Chinese astrology for 2023 and 2024. So as I record this, it's about halfway through 2023, and so we're starting to look ahead to see what kind of transition we're going to go through between 2023 and 2024. And as you can see, we're going to go from water rabbit into wood dragon, and just from the pictures you can see that is quite a difference of energy. And so I thought we'd talk about it today. So when we look at the overarching energy of a water rabbit year, we have a lot of focus on family, home, reproduction, food, shelter, all of those things that give a kind of a stable environment. And so, of course, there has been lots and lots of talk this year about homelessness, about reproductive rights, and also, of course, living simply, how to live in an inflationary environment. These sort of things are what happens during a rabbit year. Now, a rabbit year is a yin year, and so they're generally quieter. Oh, I shouldn't say that. They're not always quieter, but rabbit years tend to be quieter. Now, the contrast between this and a wood dragon year is huge because the dragon energy is so large. It's almost mythical. And so to go from the quiet, almost silent rabbit who says, I want to go my own way, don't push me, don't make me go too fast, to a dragon year where everything can expand exponentially is going to be a little bit of a shock to the system. So in dragon years, we focus on growth at any cost. We just want to grow. And some of that's because of the dragon itself, and some of it's because of the wood element. It's a year of really wanting to have adventure, to have something exciting happen in your life. It's about being creative, about being generous to a fault. We're going to hear stories about people giving up everything just to make some sort of magnanimous gesture. This is about exploring new worlds, and so that could be, leaving the planet, but also maybe exploring under the sea and other worlds that have not been explored. Exploitation of opportunities, there's going to be plenty of that, and endless debates. So that's because the dragon energy already feels right, and wood energy is very much about knowledge and education. So you put those two together and you get some energy that really thinks that it's correct and is going to argue with you until the end. So I do Chinese astrology from a Western astrology perspective. That means that I try as much as I can to find connections between the two, even though these two systems emerged independently. And there are some areas where we can use Western astrology knowledge to give us more understanding of what Chinese astrology is telling us. And so when we combine the energy of the animal sign with the energy of the element, we can give those Western astrology symbols. And that's some, for a Western astrologer, that really helps us get a fuller picture. It's not, a one-for-one correspondence. It's quite possible that, there's going to be some nuances and things like that we're going to have to do. That's okay. I think for an overarching energy, we can see a lot through the lens of Western astrology. And so, for example, the 2020 year of the metal rat is very much like Venus in Aries. So Venus in Aries is, I want it and I want it right now. And so that was 2020. We were all scrambling for resources, staying home and then running out, grabbing what we could and running back home. So 2021 is Venus in Taurus, and Venus in Taurus is, all right, we're just settling in. This is our life. Can't change anything. We're just going to try and get comfortable. And so 2021 was about, counting resources and rebuilding. in 2022, and I swear it was the moment the tiger year kicked in, like everybody said, I'm done with the masks, I'm done with distancing, and everybody said, I'm going to be independent, I'm going to do my own thing. That was the tiger year. And so that was Mercury in Gemini, and that was, wanting to communicate, wanting to go places. Everybody started traveling again and communicating. And so this was the year of wild change, freedom, but as well, also territories to say, these are my people and those are your people, etc. And now we're in 2023, and so that's a water rabbit year. And so we're doing Mercury in Cancer, so that discussion of Cancerian sort of things, which is home, family, nurturing. And so this has been that year where we have thought a lot about it, but mostly, tried to stay home a little bit more, tried to be with family and people that we know. And then we're going to go into Wood Dragon. And so Wood Dragon is Jupiter in Leo. And so Jupiter being, like the biggest planet in the solar system, and then Leo, the most confident, the king. And so you put those two energies together and you get big thinking. Everything is about growth. Everything's over the top. And then when we get to 2025, we're going to do Wood Snake, and that is going to be Jupiter in Virgo. And Jupiter in Virgo it's a funny thing. There's a story about, like you get these very simple instructions, right? It says simple instructions, and the first line of the instructions is, first get a degree in structural engineering. And then in parentheses it says, okay, I said simple, not easy. And so this is very much about looking at all of the things that have to be done in detail and figuring out what can be done, what can't be done. It's like looking at everything under a microscope and, maybe attacking an idea because one little piece is wrong, or throwing away a document because a comma is out of place. So the Wood Snake energy, not that easy. Now, I did a video already on the economy in 2023 and going into 2024. This is just some more information about that. As you can see, when we look at just, the S&P, basically what the Dow is doing, and I know that's not a full measure of the economy. Not that many people are in the stock market, but it does affect people's mood about things, about their optimism to invest in general. And so in rabbit years, you can see most of the time, 90% of the time, the market is up. Dragon years is a little bit more average, 3 down with the rest being up. But you can see in a snake year, it is very, very common that the market is down. And so that's what we are expecting, is that there's going to be a basically small uptick in the markets for 2023, some volatility in 2024, but I think that there'll still be some incredible gains, especially in some areas. And then in 2025, then we see a downturn. And then just for fun, I went in and calculated what the different Chinese animals and elements for a few countries. And so United States is fire monkey, which from a Western standpoint is kind of like Jupiter in Sagittarius. It's just like, I can do anything and I'm great at everything. And I want to go around the world and put my influence, have my philosophy everywhere. And monkeys can meddle a bit. And so there's that, enthusiasm for teaching the world, etc. China's sign here is based on when it became a communist country. And so China, from that standpoint, is metal ox, which we definitely see the ox moving forward, slowly plodding along, trying to gain as much financial stability and slow, very stable growth as possible. It's very much about reorganizing resources. Whenever we get metal, we're organizing what we have. And so that was, moving people from the country to the city, building places so that manufacturing could be done in certain areas. So very metal ox. And then the current conflict going on in Ukraine is interesting because both Russia and Ukraine are metal goat. And so goat energy is about trying to make something better. And so you're climbing for the better grass. But it is also a very combative energy. You think of the ram who's, going to butt heads with someone. And here we have two that are equally fighting. They're both looking to say, do I have enough resources to continue the fight? Do I need to conserve resources? Do I need to move them around? If I win, do I get more resources? So that's what that conflict is from a Chinese astrology perspective. Now, the 5 elements in Chinese astrology are very different than the Western 4 elements, and they are very, very important. The 5 element system in Chinese astrology is based on the 5 visible planets. And so, as you can see, the elements basically are the building blocks for everything. And so the 5 elements form the basis of architecture, Chinese medicine, cuisine, so many different things. And so the building blocks of the 5 element system are wood, which is representing Jupiter. And so it's the color green. It's things that are tall and narrow, like a tree trunk, or things made of wood or plants. It is the emotion of anger, and it's the energy of growth. Then there is fire, and fire's representing Mars, and so it's the color red. It's things that are triangular. So in architecture, we might see, like gables and things like that. So triangular, like a flame. It is animal prints and plastics and candles and fireplaces, things that are on fire. It is the energy of joy, or the emotion of joy, and it's the energy of taking action. Then there is Earth, which is representing Saturn, and so it is the color yellow. It is the shape of a table or a mesa mountain. It is something that is flat and low to the ground. It's very solid. It is things made of clay or marble or granite. So, as people put more granite into their houses or more marble into their houses, they're getting more earth into their house, more stability into the house. It is the emotion of rest. It is the energy of stillness. And so it is the act of actually being still and waiting or meditating. Then metal is representing Venus, and it is the color white. It is the shape of a circle, so like a coin. It is things made of metal. And that can be, from an architectural standpoint, that might be, metal bars or metal accents. Sometimes you see metal furniture. It is the emotion of sadness, and it is the energy of organization. So usually we say organizing resources. And then water represents Mercury, and so it is the color blue all the way to black. It is a shapeless form or undulating form, and it is things made of glass, things that contain water. And so this is, in a house, this would be the windows or vases or the swimming pool. It is the emotion of fear, and it is the energy of communication or connection. Now, again, in contrast with the Western 4-element system, the Chinese astrology 5-element system interacts. And they can interact in various cycles. And 2 of the most prominent cycles are the creative cycle and the destructive cycle. So in the creative cycle, wood creates fire. So because the wood feeds the fire. And then fire creates earth because of the ash that's produced. And then earth creates metal because we dig into the ground and we find gold or other metals. And then metal creates water because if we make something out of metal, condensation forms, and so it's pulling water out of the air. And then water feeds wood because we pour water on the ground and trees grow. Now, there's also a destructive cycle, and that destructive cycle is that wood depletes earth because it pulls the nutrients out of the earth. Earth blocks water because we can build a dam and stop the water or change the direction of water. Water puts out fire. Fire melts metal, and then metal chops wood because we can form the metal into an axe or a saw and cut down the tree. Now, just as important as the cycle is the size of which element. And so when we are looking at your personal element versus the element of the year, we are looking at your element versus the entire world. Because when we have an element for the year, the entire world has the inclination to do that element. So even though you may be on the creative cycle or the destructive cycle, if it's not in the right order, it can be challenging. So let's go through those. Now, to find out whether you are the wood element, you would be born in a year ending in 4 or 5. And that is unless you're born in January or February of a year ending in 4, then you may be the water element. You're going to have to check to see when Lunar New Year happened the year you were born. Now, if you're the wood element, and the element for the year in 2023 is water, that means you're on the creative cycle. And so that means that whenever you're thirsty, that moment you're thirsty, somebody shows up with a drink. Somebody shows up to give you something to quench your thirst. And so that means people step up to assist you. You can find a win-win. There is an abundance of connections. There's an abundance of information you can get. It's just important because if everybody is offering you something, it's just important to be a little bit choosy about what it is you're looking for. And then in 2024, when we go into the wood year, then you're in harmony with the energy, and you're growing and the world is growing, and so you feel happy. Now, if you are the fire element, and you know you're the fire element because you're born in a year ending in 6 or 7, although if you're born in January or February in a 6 year, you do want to check because it's possible you are the wood element. So you want to know when Lunar New Year happened. So, but if your element is fire and in 2023, the entire world is water, that means you're on the destructive cycle. And so the entire world is pouring water on your fire. And so that means that whatever enthusiasm you have, the world's going to say, oh, it's not a good idea. You're going overboard. You shouldn't be excited about this. There's terrible things happening. It's just going to be one of these things after another. However, as the water gets poured on your fire, steam can happen, and steam, can propel things forward. So you can still take the lead and have other people follow. Now, in 2024, you're going to be on the creative cycle because wood feeds fire. And that means that the entire world is setting up a buffet of opportunities for you. You're going to have your pick. Now, if you're the earth element, and we know you're the earth element if you're born in a year that ends in 8 or 9, again, if you're born in January or February, of a year that ends in an 8, you do want to check when Lunar New Year happened because it's quite possible that you're fire element. But if you are earth element and the element for the year in 2023 is water, then you're on the destructive cycle, which means that you're trying to build a little dam while this giant flood is coming in, and you're trying to get opportunities to come in a direction that you want, and so you're getting a lot of opportunities, but there may not be a good fit. Somebody offers you a job, but it's not enough money, or it's a bad shift, or it's cross country, or something like that. So this is a time where you want to set boundaries and limits. And you need to just tell other people what it is you want and see if they'll make some sort of adjustment. Now in 2024, you're going to be on the destructive cycle because wood depletes earth, which means that everybody in the world believes that you will feed them, that you will give them something that you need. And so it's quite easy to become depleted if you're not very choosy. Now, if you're the metal element, you know that you are because you were born in a year ending in 0 or 1. If you were born in January or February of a year ending in 0, it's quite possible that you are the earth elements. You do want to check. But otherwise, if you're metal and the world in 2023 is water, you're on the creative cycle, but it is in the wrong direction because you are the smaller trying to create the larger, which means that you are trying to create as fast as possible. Like you're sending things out and everybody is demanding something from you. So, and this means you're pulled in many directions, that you have to be very choosy. Otherwise, you can become depleted or you can use up resources on activities that are not useful for you. Now, in 2024, you're on the destructive cycle as metal chops wood. And so it's kind of like you have maybe some plans in mind and you have unlimited building materials, but you're going to have to do the work because the unlimited building materials is in the form of a tree. So it's not lumber yet, and it's certainly not a house or a building yet. And so you have that extra work to do, but the building materials are there. Now, if you are the water element, and we know you're the water element if you were born in a year ending in 2 or 3, if you were born in January or February in a year ending in 2, that means you could be the metal elements. You want to check that. But if you are water and this year is water, you're in harmony with the energy. You're going with the flow. You know, it's like, it just feels like you know what people are about, what they want. So you're able to connect and communicate with lots and lots of people. Your intuition is really strong. There's lots of opportunities to collaborate and work together. Anything that was holding you back just seems to dissolve. Now, in 2024, you are on the creative cycle as water feeds wood, but you're the smaller trying to create the larger. So it's kind of like you have your pitcher of water here and the entire world is thirsty and they all have their glass out and you're trying to measure who to give to and how much to give to. And so this is very much about where you're going to put your precious time, energy, and communication. Where are you going to, put your attention, because the entire world is trying to get your attention. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a couple of new offerings on my website now. I've got a little PDF book which is about curing a missing corner in your house. This is when using the Bagua compass, when you find you're missing your money area or your relationship area, that there's a way to cure that so that getting more money in your life or getting love in your life is much easier. And so that's on my website now. I also have the Flying Star for both 2023 and 2024 together. That is kind of an audio / PDF combination. And so you can check those out. Readings are available. New videos are coming out on YouTube all the time. And I will see you in the next video.